This is a document that I made recently, and I am now going to read it for everyone. Foremost demand revisited. This is a demand that exceeds the four main demands that I have from the organization and takes the highest priority. It is made very specifically because of what transpired on January 5th, 2024. On that date, I was very unfairly and unjustly inflicted with persisting damage to my brain. I did absolutely nothing wrong. On the contrary, I was in the middle of doing the Free Guy program for over 3 months consistently. Yet the evil creature decided that I must be communicated the number 37 with obsessiveness. It attacked my body for that number already 1 week before that. Also, the war with Hamas began when the clock showed that number. They also sent rockets to my neighborhood when I was doing a 37th set. And so, on that day, January 5th, 2024, when I was doing my 37th set, the creature decided to start twitching my left hand non-stop, and I shouted for it to leave my hand alone. But it persisted, and no matter how much or how hard I screamed for it to leave my hand alone, it wouldn't stop doing that. I ended up screaming so hard for such a prolonged time and also doing several sets without air to breathe, feeling suffocation while doing the sets because of the constant screaming in the time where I was supposed to rest and get air, that my brain was afflicted with persisting damage. Ever since that day, I am suffering from persisting headaches that wouldn't go away, even with painkillers. 6 days after the event, even while using 6 different pain medications, specifically 500 milligrams of paracetamol, 230 milligrams of caffeine, 15 milligrams of codeine phosphate, 400 milligrams of ibuprofen, 81 milligrams of aspirin, and 1000 milligrams of curcumin C3. I was still feeling headaches while giving the head even a tiny bit of tension, specifically while coughing. I don't deserve to be damaged physically, especially not in such an important, crucial, and central part of the body. I did not do anything wrong. On the contrary, I was doing everything right, and I was doing it for over 3 months already. I wasn't even rushing to get rewarded or even compensated at that time. But most definitely neither deserved nor expected to be afflicted with brain damage instead. When I first recorded a video about this, with the intention of uploading it to YouTube, which I did, the evil creature immediately twitched my left eye, most likely to remind me that before twitching my left hand, it had been twitching my left eye week after week, especially on training days, and also to tell me that, here, It's just a twitch. That's all I'm doing to you. It's not serious. Get used to that. Well, I have a few things to say about it. If it's really just a twitch and not something serious, why am I now suffering from persisting brain damage? Do you think that I wanted to be afflicted with that? Do you think that I deliberately screamed so hard and so long to the point of both suffocation and extreme stress to the brain because I want to do that, especially during my fucking workout? Or maybe, just maybe, perhaps, the twitching was truly intolerable. If something is done to a person's body without his consent, which shouldn't be done to begin with, and the person shouts for it to stop, then it must mean that the person can't tolerate their body being messed with like that, nor they should. At that point, the creature could have stopped, but it didn't. It kept going on, and even after I kept screaming very hard for a long time, and even suffocated during my sets, it still wouldn't stop. It kept going on all the way until I was afflicted with brain damage. That's perhaps how it makes an impact. You see, it's a cruel, sadistic thing. Delivering some pain is not enough for it. It has to go all the way until some real damage is done. The creature is not satisfied. The irony is that for years the creature has been desperately trying to fool me into thinking that I have some form of nerve damage that makes my legs twitch, especially while watching movies or TV shows. It also has been trying to hopelessly convince me that the exercise that I do causes me nerve damage. It wanted so hard to buy me into the nerve damage lie that it ended up doing actual damage to my brain. What's also ironic, in a very sad way, that when it was doing that to me, the song that was playing as part of my playlist was Fame by Irene Cara, which has to do with immortality, where she sings I'm gonna live forever. It's on that song, the one that has to do with eternal life and heavenly success, that the creature decided to afflict me with persisting damage to my brain, as though trying to lock me down in great misfortune, and damage to my health was opposing the great happiness expressed in that song. It was a very cruel and evil thing to do to me, and I most certainly don't deserve that. And if you think that perhaps I should have suffered throughout the non-stop messing with my hand, think again. How would you feel if in the middle of your private exercise someone barged into your house and started doing something to your body? Would you just allow that to happen? Would you just tolerate it? Or would you try to get rid of that intruder with everything you got, which is what a normal person would do? That's what I did by screaming so hard. I wanted the evil, intrusive, parasitic thing to be rid of from the bottom of my heart and soul. And I was expressing that to everyone who is watching, which they do. I may not have the physical ability to stop the evil creature, but at least I can scream. If that's all I can do, then that's what I do. I do anything that I can. And if I ended up damaged in that process, That's certainly not my fault. Mind you, I was not merely suffering from an intruder doing something to my body in the middle of a private activity at my own home, which is already intolerable, not just to me but for any normal person. I was in fact suffering from it being done to me after already several years of suffering of different types of physical torture, mostly heavy, persistent physical torture by the same evil creature. That makes that all even much more intolerable. Like, how much do you expect one innocent man to suffer? The creature, it understands all that, yet despite of all of it, it kept twitching my left arm until my brain was afflicted with long-term damage. That thing is pure evil and malice, and I was treated extremely unfairly and unjustly. I demand to be compensated for the brain damage that was done to me with 100 million US dollars. I demand the organization to use their advanced capabilities to heal the damage that was unjustly done to my brain. I demand to be promised that nothing of the sort would ever be done to me ever again. Also, I have something to add about communication in general. You want to communicate something, it's best done in a direct, respectful manner. At least that's the most civil way. Ideally, send a message or make a phone call with exactly what you want to communicate. You don't want to communicate in a direct way. For whatever reason, fine. Then send a message or make a phone call with an indirect message. You don't want a direct approach at all? Okay, then use a roundabout way, like send someone to send someone near me when I am going outside or in an online environment. Don't do things to my body. Do not use my body to communicate. I am not an animal. I am not a pet. I am not a household animal. I am not a dog nor sheep. Do not treat me like a lower life form. Do not disrespect my life and existence. My body is not a communication device, nor are my limbs. Do not insult me and do not abuse me. If you don't want to communicate in the most direct, clear, and respectful manner, then find some way that at least doesn't hurt me or in any way tries to make less of me. That was the first version of the document. But here's a small update from today, January 29th, 2024. Today, the organization abused my body so heavily that I screamed very badly for hours. As a result, the headaches now became worse. Because of that, I now demand 200 million US dollars compensation for this.